The flood disaster hit regions in North Rhine-Westphalia and Rhineland-Palatinate particularly hard. Reconstruction funds are now being negotiated, and there's a gigantic sum in the room. The planned reconstruction fund after the flood disaster, especially in Western Germany, could have a volume of around 30 billion euros. The German press agency reported on Monday, citing government circles. First, the magazine Spiegel reported about it. The Prime Minister of the Federal States and Chancellor Angela Merkel from the Christian Democratic Union want to agree on the construction fund this week. In regional circles, it was said that the sum had not yet been tied down. There was still a lack of calculation basis. According to a draft resolution from Monday, the establishment of a national fund, the so-called Development Aid 2021, is planned as a federal fund. The draft is available to German media. The construction projects are to be financed half by the federal government and half by the federal states. The federal states are to be involved through an adjusted distribution of the sales tax revenue over 20 years. In North Rhine-Westphalia alone, the damage caused by the storm in mid-July amounts to more than 13 billion euros, according to initial estimates, as Prime Minister Armin Laschet, who is also the Christian Democrat Union leader, announced on Monday in a special session of the Düsseldorf State Parliament. The damage in Rhineland-Palatinate is at least as high, so that the planned National Reconstruction Fund should include 20 to 30 billion euros. The Rhineland-Palatinate Prime Minister Malu Dreyer from the Social Democrats had told the Welt in Germany that she was assuming that a double-digit billion amount would be needed for the reconstruction. Especially regions in North Rhine-Westphalia and Rhineland-Palatinate were hit hard by the flood disaster, as I said, and according to the draft resolution for the federal state meeting, the federal cabinet intends to adopt the construction fund on August 18th. A federal law is planned. The Bundestag, that's the federal parliament, must agree, and the Bundesrat, that's the federal council, must also approve the law. Laschet said in the state parliament that before the conference of the prime ministers with the chancellor, all states had signaled their willingness to provide the necessary sum for the reconstruction. That is why we are grateful for this nationwide solidarity, he said. A swift parliamentary procedure with special sessions of the Bundestag and Bundesrat is now necessary, affirmed Laschet, who is, by the way, also the union's candidate for chancellor. He said, "I think that the Bundestag can still meet in August." The draft resolution for the deliberations of the federal and state government states that the floods of the last few weeks in some regions are a catastrophe of national proportions. It says, "The number of deaths is staggering, the damage is immense. The federal government will support the states extensively in their emergency aid programs and will also be ready to contribute financially to the reconstruction in the coming months and years," and that's how long it will take. According to the first draft resolution, the federal and state governments are also striving to improve the decentralized warning of the population in the event of a disaster. This includes in particular the federal siren funding program and the introduction of cell broadcasting. And I'll see you in my next video. Bis gleich.